So welcome, Aaliyah. It's good to have you on board today for this conversation with Red Robin Learning, to catch up with you. You've been around for a long time, since primary school. In fact, we've had a long association, and you've been working with us. And now we've caught you right at the end. Well, not at the end of your journey, but at the beginning of the end of your journey. You've been accepted to Warwick University after some really amazing A-level results. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We will speak about in a bit, but just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from in the country, and yeah, just a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. So I'm Aaliyah. I live in South East London. I have a passion for politics, and I have since I was really young, and I want to go into the media and journalism because it's genuinely what I'm passionate about. And yeah, education has been the one thing in my life that's been like a constant. Like, things have come and gone, but I think education has been the one thing that has always been there.
Absolutely. And I think that that's something that because we've had such a kind of a relationship that has lasted for so many years with your family as well, that is something that I can definitely attest to 100%. How important do you think that education was in your household?
So important. I don't think I can like grasp it in words, just how much my mum, from the day I was born, told me, you need to have a good education. You need to have good education. And I never got it. Like, I never understood why. Because at times she was hard on me, and I was like, I don't quite understand why this is so important. But now that I'm like going into university, I'm so glad. Like, I'm so happy that she was
tough on you.
Like, she really did. Like, she was tough on me, but like protected me and fought for me, especially in terms of education. But yeah, no, education has always been, to my mum and my stepdad, has been like the most important, the key, or like my mum has always described it as the key to everything, and I get it now. I understand.
Right. So at the time then, you're saying that it was a bit frustrating, but now you're absolutely pleased and you're absolutely glad that your mum stuck to her guns. There was a little bit of tough love involved, and she really persisted with you and kind of gave you lots of opportunities. And you've kind of spoken about your journey, how important education was in your household. What other advice would you give to A-level students out there?
I have so much. I think the main one is the 2 years of sixth form move so quickly. It's almost like when year 12 ends and then you go into year 13, it's almost as though you feel like you don't have any time to do anything. So I think the biggest one would be find a hobby that you like and do it. Like, even if it could be the most obscure hobby, but do it. When I was in year 13, I did my school musical. I'm so glad I did it, because not only did it help me take a break from academics, which you need in year 13 because it gets so much, but I got to meet so many new people, and I discovered new hobbies that I had. Sorry, I've got a cold at the moment. The second piece of advice I have is probably, this is going to sound so bad, but enjoy year 12. Enjoy year 12. Year 12, even with a pandemic, was probably one of my favorite years academically, because I was doing subjects that I loved. I didn't have the academic stress of year 13, and I got to like just experience things, like, you know what I mean? So enjoy year 12, keep on top of it. I would say the best way to do that is to like folder all of your work and just be organized, because if you're organized, then you don't have to worry about everything at the end of the year. That way you can focus more on like building a good like support system around you, because that's really, really important to have in sixth form. My third piece of advice would be to learn how you study. I have a very unconventional studying style, but it works for me, so that's what I do. It's really hard to know how to study, especially when you didn't do GCSEs and did not do ASs.
Yeah.
And my mocks were all over the place. Like it was crazy.
But then you actually had to do the real exam.
Yeah, which it was sitting A levels did not feel real to me.
Of course, because you had there
were so many points in year 13 where I was like, oh, you know what, I might as well stop now because they're going to close the schools, because that's what I was used to. I was used to so much disruption.
Absolutely, because of the pandemic.
So sitting A levels didn't feel real, but if you learn how you study and revise, things will get infinitely easier. And I can't attest to like the more STEM based subjects, but if you're doing subjects like English, politics, history, more so politics and English, don't be afraid to be passionate about what you're doing. Like if you're in a politics class, say how you feel, because your teachers will respect you for it and it will help you in the long run.
Absolutely. Yeah, to absolutely, I completely agree. And you know, when you said, for instance, enjoy year 12 and your passion for your subject, I'm assuming that you kind of, what you meant by that is that you put the two together, like you were studying something that you were really passionate about, that you really enjoyed, that you were really committed to, and that gave you an opportunity to really explore those subjects more without the actual pressure of kind of an examination in year 12. Is that what you were referring to? Or
yeah, in the sense of that, but also in the sense of like just generally just keep good company and like talk to different people in your free periods. But on the subject of the first one, I would not have all the time to have done all this like research and watching documentaries and stuff if like in year 13 I just wouldn't have. And my politics and history course in particular was so interesting. Like I remember we did this course on Britain from 1918 to 1997 on like different areas of life, so like economy, politics, social, culture, and it was the most interesting thing. And I remember my teacher giving us like a list of TV shows and like documentaries, and I went and watched every single one.
Wow. So you were able to do that because you had that additional time in year 12 to really be able to bolster your knowledge base to really help you in year 13. I think that is really excellent advice overall. So then you're at a stage now where you'll be going off to Warwick tomorrow. I'm really grateful that you made time to speak to us today. There's some of our students are off to various other parts of the country as well, and some of them will only get to speak to us when they arrive there. So hopefully you can see some future interviews with them as well. And in terms of kind of your course at university, what are you going to go off to study? I think you may have mentioned it already, but tell us a little bit more about that, and what was the process and how did you make that decision to get to go to Warwick?
So I'm going to be studying politics and sociology, and how I ended up applying for Warwick is really funny, because when I started year 13, I had about 7 universities that I knew that I was going to apply to. So I had to like narrow it down. So I had Queen Mary's, Cardiff, Exeter, Manchester, Birmingham, Warwick, 8. No, did I say 7? Cambridge is on there, but me and Cambridge had a difficult journey.
Right.
But those were the main ones that I knew that I was going to apply to. So I looked at all of the websites, and initially I was going to do politics and history. But I remember looking at one of the websites and I saw politics and sociology, and I was like, okay, let me click on this because this does look interesting. Looked on the course, and literally was every single thing that I was interested in, and was like, this is the course that I'm doing, it's final, and you cannot change my mind. So a lot of the universities don't actually do that course.
Mm.
And I was on the Warwick website and I was looking at it and I was just so intrigued. So I explored it and I looked at the campus and I was like, yeah, I'm applying to this one.
Wow. And the rest is history. You got the grades, and the rest is history. That's really amazing, and kind of we're so incredibly proud of you, kind of to see where you started to to reach this stage, and we'll be following you closely. At Warwick as well. We hope that you reach out to us from time to time and let us know how things are progressing there as well. I guess the final thing, just to finish off with, is one of the things that we ask our students is kind of the role of Red Robin Learning in all of this, from your perspective, in terms of where it is that you've reached today. How would you kind of sum that up?
Wait, could you repeat the question?
The role of Red Robin Learning, kind of in supporting you to get to the stage that you're at the moment. What would you say that role has been, in your opinion, if any?
I would say it's played a really like significant role in my education. I don't know if I would be where I am without it, because I know I have the academic ability to do things, but I don't have the confidence or sometimes the like willpower to do it. And without Red Robin, I don't think I would have pursued certain things because I just would not have had the confidence to do it. So I'm really thankful that I had it, because as well as like routine and structure and like helping me with schoolwork, I probably wouldn't have like seen any point in like pursuing higher education, or like even the seriousness of going to a good school and going to a good institution. I wouldn't have got it.
So you think your interaction there kind of helped you in that sense to be able to grow in confidence? I'm hearing from you. So how and then kind of foster some of those deeper kind of connections to higher education, or a deeper desire to kind of reach those levels of higher education. Talk to me a little bit about the confidence aspect, though. How did that work in terms of the tuition that you were receiving and stuff?
Because I'm very critical of myself. I always assume the worst of like any piece of work that I do,
right,
unless I know if like for a fact, even to this day, some of my courseworks I feel like could have been better, but that's neither here or there. But I think without being like reassured and told that like you're doing well, you just need to be doing this a little bit better, I wouldn't have, especially at GCSEs, because I think there's like a lot of people don't truly understand how difficult GCSEs and A levels are, not just from a like academic point of view, but sometimes it's really hard to find like the fight to do anything. I remember, especially with my maths GCSE, I just gave up so many times because I was like, I don't want to do this and I'm not going to need maths. So why am I bothering? Like, I'm just going to turn up to the exam and hope for the best. And I managed to pass because I didn't, like, I was, even when I did give up, I was told, like, Lee, you need to do this because if you don't pass, you're going to do it again.
We didn't allow you to quit.
No, not at all.
Absolutely brilliant. That's really good, and that's really fantastic. I mean, I thank you very much for your time, and for especially the day before you're traveling to Warwick as well. We really appreciate it. Like I said, we are incredibly proud of you and what it is that you've achieved so far. We have our expectations of you are so much more for the future as well. We know that you will be achieving amazing things. So again, thanks and congratulations on your results.
Thank you actually for everything. You've been such an important part of my education, and I really do have to thank you for absolutely everything that you've done for me. And
No,
even everything you've done for my brother as well. Like, just the way you've helped the two of us is not, like, I don't think anybody can imagine just how much of an important part you've been in my education. So I really do have to thank you for everything.
no, you're very welcome. And you know, I always say to people that I'm incredibly fortunate that I get to wake up every day and support young people through their education, try to help them to get somewhere in life and with their education, or it could be their vocational studies. Not everyone has to go down an academic path necessarily, but ultimately, I want every young person to have the opportunities that you've had in life, and other young people who have passed through our system have had. So it's a massive privilege, an honor, and a pleasure for me to be able to kind of do what I love, which is ultimately help young people to kind of get along in life and be able to gain access to higher educational institutions that they're interested in, and to be able to do that every day is kind of the biggest privilege of my life. And I think that because we've been around for such a long period of time now, kind of our initial cohort of students kind of have gone off and gone to university and have got their own careers, and now they've got their own families and their own children and everything else. But still, just to see your cohort now come through, through young people that we've been working with since primary up to secondary, through their A levels, and now going off to university, it never loses its appeal, and it's the ultimate payment for us, really, to see you young people kind of progress and move ahead in life. So thank you very much for your generous and kind comments and for your time, and we will speak again.
100%. I'll definitely be letting you know how my degree goes.
Well, we'll always be here for you, Aaliyah. Okay, take care then, and we'll speak soon.